You might not know if somebody is a beekeeper. But there will be signs. This is Blackwater Honey Forge, named in part after the Blackwater River we live near in central New Hampshire, and in part after the master craftsmanship of honeybees. This is a place for learning, discussion, and to practice the art of beekeeping. Welcome to the journey. Be well and forge on. Hey, this is Paul with Blackwater Honey Forge. Thanks for coming around. Spring is upon us, and since my whole point this year is to grow from hobbyist to sideliner, and I'm trying to go from 10 hives to at least mid-30s, if not 40, I need stuff. So behind me, I have a whole bunch of stuff here. Everything from hive bodies, entrance reducers, really good cypress bottom boards that are all going to need to be painted. I have all kinds of frames from Acorn, single piece plastic frames, including green drone frames as well. From Betterbee, I have a whole bunch of polystyrene covers that are made to be used with woodenware, so they'll go over the woodenware really well. Those are also need to be painted. A whole bunch of Reflectix, because I'm not going to be using inner covers anymore. I'm just going to go right to a Reflectix layer right underneath the telescopic outer cover. I got stuff in these boxes. I don't even remember what I have. This one, no idea. I forget. And I got more coming on the way. I have 20 Pro Nukes coming today in the mail. So combine that with another, I already have 5 other nuke boxes. That's 25 nukes right off the bat. And then, what else do I get coming in the mail? Something else, more things. Oh, more hive bodies, more medium hive bodies. Now, I only bought medium hive bodies this year because I'm eventually going to be working on, over a multi-year step, changing out to medium-only colonies. I'm going to have medium hive bodies only. But either way, oh, and also these bottom boards, solid. I'm switching out. I'm getting away from the screened bottom boards. I don't know. There's pros and cons to that. I love that these are going to be so much more weather resistant. I'm in New Hampshire, central New Hampshire. Winter is brutal. I'm standing on snow right now, snow and ice that you can't see. So that's just going to be better for the bees in that regard. I do like having the screen bottom board so I can actually pull out my core board and actually take a look at mite drops after my treatments. So I'm going to lose that aspect, but I think I'd rather have live bees than the ability to count mites in that form. There's other ways that I can count mites if need be. And I'm going to show you one other thing. Let me get the camera over there. So this palette might not look like much, but I am super excited about it. This is my new feed rig setup that I put together for this year. I have my 45-gallon tote. I have my hose reel set up with 75 feet of 3/4-inch hose. I got my gas pump style discharge hose. And then in here, in this fancy little plastic tote, I have my SEAFLO water pump. And in previous videos, I mentioned why I was excited about this versus what I used to use. What this used to was a diesel transfer pump. And as soon as you plugged the leads onto the battery also sits in here as well, a 12-volt battery, the pump would continuously run nonstop. Didn't matter what you were doing. It was super noisy, and it drew the battery down, and I just didn't like it. This, with the water pump, this only turns on when it calls for discharge. It runs super silent. And this one, I believe it's 5.5 gallons per minute, which works out, when I was testing it yesterday, works out to be pretty much true. It took me between, I think, 12 and 14 seconds to fill up a gallon. So it's not the fastest pump in the world. They do make faster ones. But this only cost me, I think I got it on sale for $100 or $119. The faster pumps cost a lot more than that. So it has just a standard connection on here. So I bought these leads as well. They have a fuse on them. They have a switch on them. And you'll be seeing this work later this year for sure. I'm getting close to feeding liquid feed to my bees. This week it's supposed to be in the 40s and 60s during the week, but it's still getting really cold at night. It's in the 20s, and I can't feed liquid feed just yet. And even though I want to push my bees, I don't want to hurt my bees. So I might have to wait another week, but after that, it's going to be rock and roll with the liquid feed, and this is going to help me get it done. Now with hopefully 35 to 40 hives, 45 gallons, that's pretty much going to fill my apiary. Eventually, once I start getting out yards and things like that, I'm going to have to switch up to a 125 gallon tote, or even to a larger tote. But for now, this is going to be really good, and I am stoked. All right, so as you can see, there's still snow and ice on the ground, but it's supposed to be 60 degrees today. It's already almost 50, so I need to paint a bunch of equipment. So right now I'm going to work on my my new telescopic outer covers. These are BeeMax designed polystyrene, and these are the ones that are specifically made to fit over woodenware. This is not the one for the BeeMax hive itself. It's a separate and specific unit, I guess. Super lightweight, which means I hope the breeze doesn't pick up, because I don't want to be chasing these around my driveway. The other good thing about these is they have an R6.5 insulation factor, so I won't have to mess with adding and taking away styrofoam. I'm just going to paint these and be done with it. Just need to make sure not to put a hot smoker on top of them, that's all. But they do have to be painted, because without the paint, they will degrade in sunlight. You do want to use latex and enamel paint, so I have that set up in my sprayer, and we'll see how that goes. I did have to water down my paint a little bit. It was kind of thick. Hopefully it's good enough. We'll see. I am going to do 2 coats on these as my plan, depending on how the first coat goes. I'm going to need to water this paint down more. That doesn't even want to come out of the gun. So let me pause this, do what I need to do, and come back to you guys. All right, there we go. I got the paint thinned out, and my whatever brand this is here, the Wagner, there we go. It hates thick paint, so you have to water it down a decent amount, which really means that 2 coats is going to be necessary. But I'm going to go ahead and get these painted up. I have more in boxes that still need to be painted, and then I also have 30 bottom boards that need to be painted. My my medium hive bodies still need to be assembled, and yes, then painted. I'm gonna have to adjust this more. Now it's still messing up. Having a hard time with this thing. So I ended up going around with a foam roller and smoothing everything out, because at first my Wagner, it's temperamental. The paint was either too thick and it wouldn't spray at all, or then I actually thinned it out a little too much and it started spraying everything like a garden hose. So I just went ahead and touched up any spots, plus really smoothed it out. This stuff's drying really good in this sunlight, and I'll get the rest of the top covers hopefully painted today, and then I'm going to start working on my bottom boards as well. So I can't beat having 60 degrees and sunny. So I got to kind of do this while the weather's good, even though, like I said, I mean, there's still snow and ice on the ground. But in about a month, I'm going to be doing splits, and I'm going to need this hardware. I still got all those the mediums to put together, and then get those all painted as well. So a lot of work. But I'm happy to do it. It's a good push, and can't wait to see how far I can get this year. You know, one thing I wanted to mention too about these BeeMax covers that I did not before is when you buy them in a good enough quantity from Betterbee, you're paying less than 20. I think it was 19 and change per unit. When you compare that to a standard wooden telescopic outer cover, which is going to run you anywhere from 30 to 35, it's a huge savings as well when you're buying a whole bunch of them. And then that box that's not there anymore at the beginning of the garage that I could not remember what was in that box. I opened that up. That's a package of 36 in-frame feeders, medium size. At Foxhound, you can buy just a box of 36 of them and save yourself a little bit of money. So I'm starting to get bottom boards out, get those painted up. And other than that, I'll probably update you guys in a different video when it is time to go ahead and open up hives and put in liquid feed. So real quick, this will probably seem really small too, but these are the hive stands that I've been making up. And originally right here, you can see I was only doing a 9-inch insert. I upped that to 13 inches and redid these real quick, and I'm going to be making more of these as well. I noticed when I was painting on them the other day, especially with the bottom boards being on there, they were really narrow. And originally I made them as wide as I did because I thought that was I thought the width of a cinder block was 12 inches. I'm incorrect in that. Apparently a width of a cinder block is more like 15 inches. So I widened these up, and that'll make things much more secure on these hive stands, because the last thing you want on any of your colonies is for them to end up falling over onto the ground. So obviously, along with the equipment that I've gotten in, a lot of it was hive bodies, hive boxes. So I just started putting these together as well, and I've definitely learned something about myself and hive boxes. I am not quick, not at all. In regards to putting these together, though, I've taken a lot of advice from other YouTubers that I watch. I went with a chip brush rather than just putting it on here with like a bottle or whatnot, because the chip brush will really get it good on the sides of all these cavities. And I went with Titebond II, only for the sense that the Titebond II was a little bit cheaper, or a good amount cheaper actually, than the Titebond III. That's really the only factor. The Titebond III looked like it was fully weatherproof, which would have been nice. And I'll show this off here in a minute after I get done this set of boxes. I have a frame jig that got gifted to me when I made a purchase from a retired beekeeper. He gave me a lot of extra equipment and stuff too. And I've used the frame jig. And the frame jig, the frame jig was pretty cool in helping me put together my frames that I did, my wooden frames. So I figured, well, the frame jig works, then the box jig should work really good too. So I'll show you this monstrosity of a box jig that I made in a little bit. Now, in regards to that, there's something you should know about me. I'm very much function over form. The stuff I make and put together might not look the prettiest, but it needs to work. And kind of like me, right? I don't practice on being the prettiest. I don't worry about being the prettiest. I just need to work really hard. So this frame jig, it was interesting, and I'll show you why here in a minute. So get all this stuff put together. Like I said, and I'm actually not focused on speed, because though I've been beekeeping for 7 years now, this is actually the first time I've assembled boxes. I've always bought everything already pre-assembled. So I don't mind taking my time. Also, I'm not putting together 500 boxes. I'm putting together 30 boxes right now. So if it takes a little bit of time, then it takes a little bit of time. As long as I've done it well, then that's what counts. Like I said, these I want to look good too. I'm trying to take my time. I know I just said function over form, but that doesn't mean I want ugly boxes though either. So earlier in the video, in this video, when I was outside, I think talking about painting and such, there's going to be a lot of clinking and clanking on the microphone by accident, because I didn't really pay attention to where I'd had the microphone, so my apologies on that. And what that was is the microphone was clinking up against this necklace and ring that I wear. And the reason why that happened, because I never ever take this off. One of the things about me is I'm a stepdad, and a stepdad is a lot of work. It is not an easy job. And these were presents from my stepkids. One of them gave me the ring that says Dad on it, and one of them gave me the chain that came with a really nice story about how I might not be bio-dad, but I'm like a dad to them. So when your stepkids give you a gift like that, you put it on and you do not take it off. So I'll try to pay attention to the mic placement in the future, but I will always have this necklace and this ring on. Actually just went to the hardware store because the staples that I'm using in this are 1.25 inch staples. They're a little bit smaller than I would have liked. I'd like to do at least 1.5 inches. But the hardware store I went to didn't have any pneumatic fastener pieces, so that was a bummer. So 1.25 inches it is. So I'm kind of going extra on the glue as well. Ultimately, that's the stronger part. It's stronger than the fasteners anyway. Give this guy a little flip. So as you can see, the box jig works okay. But I'll show you up close and personal in a bit here, is that I did definitely not drill the holes correctly initially in this box jig. And it took a lot of figuring out. And the reason why is because when I was setting these boxes up and testing it out, I could not, originally where I drew drilled these holes, the boxes would not sit in this thing square at all. And though you can, I probably could have fixed that on the back end and made sure they were square after the fact, but I'd much rather the boxes came out of this square and eliminate an extra unnecessary step. So I kept having to drill the holes further and check, and drill the holes further and check. And despite the fact that I, measured twice and cut once, I definitely ended up measuring twice and then cut like 5 times. So whatever. Like I said, it's ugly, and this is actually some of the wood that I was painting against earlier in this video and stuff too, so just making use of some of that scrap wood that I had. So she ain't pretty, but she works, and it works pretty good. Because I can't imagine, I'm sure people have done it for a long time without any kind of jig and just kind of holding these upright and whatnot and trying it, but man, that must be a huge pain in the butt. I'm also trying to take extra time to make sure that all the handles are facing the correct way and that these are going together right, and yada yada. You probably, I don't know if you can put them together wrong, but I'm sure if you could, I could figure out a way. So, taking my time, being extra careful, and almost done on this set. Throw some more staples in real quick here. Now I do have 2-inch ring shank nails, which I considered using as well, but I really was concerned that those would end up just splitting the wood. So I'm just sticking with the staples. Ah, that one didn't go down all the way. Time for the persuader. All right, so then it's just a matter of pulling out the dowels, removing the boxes and stacking them on the side. Now I actually have my my pellet stove going here in the wood stove today. It was supposed to be almost 60 degrees today with the rain. It's only like 42 degrees in this glue. The Titebond is supposed to be 55 degrees for it to set. So I have the pellet stove going to help that glue set up and cure correctly. But yeah, so if you see, those holes are very jagged and wonky. And this thing is ugly as sin, but it works, and that's what matters. So the other thing that I did was I bought a huge roll of imitation Prodex, which, let me show you that stuff. And I think I'm gonna run an experiment and try that. So I have a bunch of Reflectix that I've already cut up, and that's gonna be my top covers. Well, a couple of my inner covers, I should say, not my top covers. On a few of the hives, I'm gonna run this. This is from Amazon. This is SmartSHIELD. It's imitation Prodex, but it's the same style material. It's got the foil wrapping, but it actually has a very, very thin foam inside. This is, I believe the full thickness on this is 1.5 millimeters thick. So it's super thin and super pliable. And I've already cut this to the same width there for the 16 inches. I just need to cut it to length. It's still in roll form. This stuff says that it has an R value of a little over 10. So coupling that with the new polystyrene outer covers that I have, which are 6.5, right away there, then I'm already going to have almost 17, over 16, almost 17 of an R value up on the top of the hive. So like I said, going condensing hive style, having that insulation up there, I think is just going to help the bees out a lot, especially going into next winter. This, by the way, the SmartSHIELD on Amazon, it cost me a little over $100. That was for a 100-foot roll that was 48 inches tall. So I can actually cut that up into thirds, and that'll give me more than enough for all of my hives for a while. So other than that, I'm gonna put together some more boxes. I hope you guys are ready up here for spring. We've had like 3 false springs up here in New Hampshire, New England, and I think the surrounding states as well. So we're all jonesing, we're all waiting. We're waiting to get that liquid feed on and getting those bees working. I hope it's working out for you wherever you're at. If you're up here in the Northeast like me, then I know like me, you're probably chomping at the bit. If you're somewhere else, down south or elsewhere in the country, you probably already got splits in the works. You probably, some of the YouTubers I'm watching are already selling off nukes. So wherever you're at, I hope you're doing the best that you can. And until next time, be well, forge on.